Bible story today is about 10 men who were sick. They had sores on their faces, they had sores on their hands, they had sores on their arms, they had sores on their feet. And what was worse was that nobody wanted to be near them. Because if anybody got close to them, they might get sick too. And nobody wanted to have this sickness. This sickness was called leprosy, and everybody was afraid of leprosy. Nobody would get close to these men. Nobody would let them come close to them. But there was nothing they could do until one day they heard about Jesus. They heard that Jesus didn't mind being close to lepers. In fact, he might even be able to make them well. So they decided that they needed to find Jesus. And they heard that Jesus was going to be coming nearby, and they went to the road where he was going to pass by. They had to stay a ways away from the road because nobody would let them get close. But there they went, close to where Jesus was. They saw lots of people coming down the road, and there was Jesus right with them. And when Jesus got close enough for him to hear them, they called, "Jesus, help us, please help us." And Jesus turned and looked at them, and he saw all their sores, and he knew that they wanted him to heal them. So Jesus said, "Go and show yourself to the priests." Now the priests were the only people who could tell whether people were healed from leprosy or not. And it was something they had to do before they could go back home, was to make sure that the priest said it was okay. Now they weren't well right away, but they all ran to the priest. So they all ran to the priest so the priest could look at them and decide if they were well. As the 10 men were running to the priest, they looked at their arms, and they looked at their hands, and they looked at their feet, and they looked at each other's faces, and they realized they were well. They didn't have those sores anymore. They could go home. They could be with their families again. And so they ran quickly to the priest so that they could be told that they were well and they could go and see their families. It was a happy thing for all 10 of those men. But there was something that kind of sad happened. All but one of those 10 men forgot to do something very, very important. You see, when they realized that they were well again, only one of those men turned back and went to Jesus and said, "Thank you, Jesus, for making me well." Jesus was very pleased to see that one of the men was thankful for the help that he had been given. But he was also sad that the other 9 hadn't thought to say thank you. Jesus is pleased when we learn to say please and thank you and nice things. He's also pleased when we think to thank him for all the good things he does for us every day. Our memory verse is Psalm 92, verse 1. It says, "It is good to give thanks to the Lord." Take a moment now and say that to your mom or dad. Psalm 92, 1. It is good to give thanks to the Lord.